You made it. Hello.
Hi.
We've been trying to plan this for a while, right?
I know, since like beginning of summer, I think.
It's been a minute. Originally, you were like, but I convinced you, right?
Yeah, very convincing.
Hey, everybody, it's Jeff from Dirty Pool Pinball, and I'm here with another DPP podcast, but it's in person. It's not live this time, right?
No, not live.
I guess we have dogs here. That's kind of live. They could interact.
Yeah.
Dog chat interaction.
Real dogs.
So in my effort to put more and more faces to different pinball-related things, I'm joined by Ryan Gratzer.
Gratzer.
I said it correctly.
Yep.
You may not know Ryan's face, even though he has a podcast with his buddy Scott called Mappin' Around. It's funny. That's like a mousing around joke.
Yeah.
Is that where it came from?
No.
Anyways, you may have used this app. In fact, you probably have definitely used it. It's called Pinball Map. Mm-hmm. This is Pinball Map.
Yep. One of the people behind Pinball Map.
That's right. So you and Scott started this...
in 2008, so 17 years ago.
Wow, that's an insanely long time.
Yeah.
Now, we talked a little bit about it, and you kind of blew my mind. I'm going to give a little preview of later on, that you have over 100 admins that help you run this.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So it's kind of crowdsourced. For people who don't know what Pinball Map is, can you give them a quick rundown of kind of like what the platform does?
Sure. Yeah. It's there's a website and there's an app. And it is a source for finding public machines to play. And it's user updated, so anyone can add machines, remove machines from locations that are listed on the map, filter to only locations that have those particular machines they're looking for. And it covers the whole world. Which
is insanely useful for, say you're interested in buying a game that has just come out and you want to know where it is on location. Insanely useful tool. If you're interested in just buying a game in general, I mean, or if you just have a game that you remembered as a kid that suddenly you're like, oh man, I wonder if anybody has this. It's not like you can really go knocking down random strangers' doors and jump on their pinball collections.
No.
As nice as that would be.
Yeah.
Maybe you could add that as a feature.
Yeah. Some people do want to have their houses listed with a number and say, call me.
And how do you address that?
We have had ones slip past moderation before and last a couple years like that, and they said it was no problem. But we feel like there might be some liability risk of saying like, here's my $100,000 worth of assets at my house and my home address. I don't know.
Pinball machines are expensive. I don't know if you know that.
I've heard. Yeah. I don't collect, but I've heard.
Really? You don't have any pinball machines?
Well, I do have two. But one was a gift to my parents.
Okay.
And then one was before pinflation, so it was
so it was reasonably priced.
A Flight 2000 for $450.
I used to own a Flight 2K as well. It's a good game.
Yeah.
All right. So Pinball Map has a lot of locations. Which location has the most pinball machines? Please don't say the Pinball Museum in Nevada.
Yeah, it's either that or Pastimes. I don't even remember. Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, Pastimes makes sense. That's Rob Burke's location, who runs Pinball Expo and has obviously bazillions of games.
Tons of machines. Yeah, and like more in storage probably that aren't even set up. Yeah.
So what got you into pinball that you were like, oh man, I should start a giant platform with 100 people helping me run it to find pinball machines all over the planet?
Well, I've been into it my whole life because in this neighborhood actually that we're in right now, some friends of my parents gave them a Paragon machine.
Okay.
I think it was like a late wedding gift.
Was it in good condition?
Great condition, brand new.
Oh my God.
Brand new. It was from, in basically 1978, 79. I think that machine came out right on the cusp there.
Sure.
So brand new machine, and we still have it. And so I was just born with a machine in my house, and I played a lot of Paragon.
That's amazing. Not only just a great machine, a great wide body, like hot dogging, Cheetah. What other some? Cheetah's not. Cheetah is a wide body, isn't it?
Yeah, Future Spas.
Some great big games.
Yeah,
but that's awesome. So you had literally pinball in the home from growing up.
Yeah, and I wasn't going out and playing that much. I mean, it depended. When I got a little older, 12, there was like a pizza place with a Caribbean Cruise that I played a lot. That's a cocktail machine. And then there were a couple machines here and there that I played, but I mostly just played Paragon. And so it was, I always loved pinball. And then when I moved to Portland, when I was in 2004 or so, I suddenly realized there's pinball everywhere.
Well, definitely in Portland. Portland is just like ground zero for pinball. You can't go to a bar. You can't go to like a gas station that doesn't have a pinball machine in Portland.
Yeah.
Which is awesome, by the way.
Yeah, tons and tons of machines. And right away, we were just playing tons of pinball. And then at that time, there was kind of an exodus from Southern California to Portland. So I already had a lot of friends that had moved up there. And I would just run into other people like, oh, I didn't know you moved here. I didn't know you moved here. And
like pinball rats leaving a pinball ship to go to a pinball heaven.
Yeah. And one of my friends was in a pinball gang up there called Crazy Flipper Fingers.
Okay.
And
what kind of trouble does a pinball gang get into?
Just
drinking.
The
mostly. Sauce.
Yeah.
Just the juice.
I get it. That's the trouble.
That's not trouble.
Yeah,
that sounds like solutions.
Yeah. Yeah. And so I would meet up with them and we'd play a ton. And I had various friend groups that we all just happened to play pinball.
Is this where you met Scott?
Yeah. Yeah. So met through mutual friends, and I was looking for a new place to live, and he liked pinball, and I moved into his house.
Nice.
Yeah.
Did he have a pinball machine at the time?
We bought one shortly. He bought one shortly after. He bought World Cup Soccer.
Awesome.
And then I brought my Paragon up, so we had them both in the garage.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's a good pairing.
Yeah. Yeah, great pairing. We had them wedged into the basement. And we were playing in the Portland Pinball League at the time.
I imagine that's a pretty competitive league with the amount of players that there are up there.
Yeah, but back then it was very chill, because it was like kind of, there was no IFPA points at that time.
Sure. No Whopper farms going on.
No, it would be 15 of us, ranging in age. There were definitely some older folks that had been playing pinball since the 70s that were there, and.
Shout out to Gene from Ontil, right?
Yeah. And we were tracking machines to play in Portland with a Google map. You could like do a custom Google map and just drop markers and write notes for what machines were there.
Got it.
But back then you couldn't search custom Google Maps. So you couldn't like type in and be like, I don't know. It just made it hard to navigate, basically.
So Pinball Map almost came out of not a deficiency of Google Maps, but you were just like frustrated that Google Maps didn't do more and the API wasn't available, or like
that was it. We were just like, we want something we could search and something that's a little easier for anyone to hop in and update, so it is more maintained.
So you mentioned like back then, and I think like timeline is kind of an interesting thing to talk about. We mentioned this a little bit. Because you have so much data about games being on location for 17 years, you said, right?
Yeah.
So like, what have you noticed about the pinball kind of like landscape or marketplace that has been like kind of interesting in observation? Like, do you see that there are more growth of games on location? Like, have there been any kind of standout things about your observations of that?
Well, I'd say, when we first started it, there were a lot of 90s Williams machines on location. And of course those like 2000 Sterns on location, and those have become much more rare. There were like the most common machine in Portland at the time was Medieval Madness.
I mean, that makes a lot of sense. But this was like before the remake.
Yeah, before the remake.
So this was OG, actual, you know, smaller display.
Yeah, it was almost like annoying that like, oh, they have another medieval
Madness.
Like, it was just everywhere. And
fantastic Brian Eddy game, but if it's the only Brian Eddy game that you keep running into, I could see how that would be fatiguing.
Yeah, but nowadays you're kind of, you're looking, I mean, there's a remake, so it makes it easier to find it, but still.
Do you think that's because operators are less inclined to be able to, or want to maintenance a game that's older because the newer ones supposedly need less maintenance? Or, I mean, what do you think is the deciding factor in the kind of shift of modern games taking over?
Yeah, I think it is that, they were able to maintain these machines fairly well for 15, 20 years or something like that. But once you extend beyond that, it becomes probably more persistent work to do compared with just plopping down a new machine.
And operators trying to make some of that green, that moolah, right? So they're going to want to bring people in with the latest and greatest.
The freshest stuff. Right. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean, there is definitely a market for people looking for some of the older machines you can't find as easily on location, but still, I think it's more tried and true to put out a brand new machine.
So it's kind of putting you on the spot for statistics, but I'm curious, like, do you have an idea of kind of what the total number of games on location maybe 10 or 15 years ago versus now might be? Like, has there been a consistent growth? Is it exponential? Is it not growing?
You know, there's a lot of caveats to a question like that because we're getting places submitted to us and we add new locations, but they're not always a brand new location that just got a machine.
Gotcha. So sometimes
it's just a map user happened to go over here and see that there's a machine. It could have been there for 10 years before it being added to the map. So it's hard to say, really.
That's cool that the power of the crowdsourcing, though, is helping to discover machines that are on location. I know somebody had posted that there was I want to say it was Johnny Mnemonic, but somewhere in the remote edge of Hawaii, there was like this one game, like just out there. And apparently it was like practically unplayable, but you know, it's on Pinball Map now.
Yeah.
You can go check it out.
Yeah. Yeah. It's really cool to see locations being added in far-flung areas. So, I mean, we have 2 or 3 locations in the Maldives.
I was just about to ask, what's the like most remote place that has a pinball machine that you can think of?
Yeah, someone asked for like having us have a stat that kind of pulls that automatically, so we do like a radius and see which one is the farthest
out from you. That's pretty neat.
I don't know outright, but yeah, I mean, there's not a lot in China listed, at least. Maybe 1 location listed in China.
I mean, is that because there aren't a lot of people updating the map in China, or is that because there's less pinball machines in China, or both?
Probably both. But probably definitely has to do with people not updating it there.
Gotcha.
All we get are probably bot attacks.
Japan has that pretty big. What is it? Silver Ball Museum, I think? I forget what the name of the Japan.
And we have 3 administrators from Japan that help, find the places there and keep them updated and stuff like that.
That's pretty. So I wanted to touch base. So we mentioned earlier that there's like over 100 administrators. So you kind of like approve people that are trustworthy or have shown that they are able to do this work to update location games.
We like them to be kind of like neutral characters, like not operators, not owners of locations. Sometimes they eventually turn into operators and owners.
Sure.
And we don't boot them out at that point.
Has there been any like nefariousness of like people lying about games on location or something? Like, what is the strangest encounter you've had with a moderator?
There has been. And it's
any share-worthy stories, not to like call out anybody's names, but is there something just quirky that you were just like, I didn't think I would have to have this interaction?
Yeah, there's been, 17 years is a long time, so things do happen. And we don't always like to highlight the bad stuff to give people ideas, but there have been
that's fair
3 or 4 cases of our administrators being operators and suppressing their competitors' locations.
Ew.
Not adding them or removing them.
Don't do that. Yeah. Don't do that.
And then we're always contacting them. We're like, did you just do that? And they're like, yeah. It's always like a mopey, like, yeah. And then we're like, yeah, you're not an admin anymore. Yeah. Sorry.
If you want to get removed from being an admin from Pinball Map, go try to tank your competitors.
Yeah.
Shane.
Yeah, Shane was one of them. No, just kidding.
Shane runs on tilt. We like to bag on him just because, I don't know.
That's the league we're in together.
Because he gets every new game within seconds before it's available to anybody. It's more of just a frustration out of love, I think, for making fun of Shane.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, so you've got all these people. How does someone become an admin? Say they're a really passionate person, they're in a location that doesn't have a lot of Pinball Map updates. Is there a way they can contact you?
Yeah, I mean, we don't add many admins these days, and that it was structured. The map was structured differently at the beginning, where right now it's this giant unified global map, where previously for the first 6-8 years or something like that, we had separate regional maps that didn't even communicate with each other or cross over.
So like realms from Game of Thrones?
Yeah, basically. Yeah.
Okay.
I can't name any of the realms, but because it started as the Portland map, and we were just like, we want to have really good data, so we're not going to add a random location in the middle of Montana that you pass by on your drive, and no one's going to drive by there for 10 years.
Sure.
So we just want this area that we live in, and we know a bunch of people that are going to be updating it. But then other people contacted us and said, please do it for LA and the Bay Area and Seattle and stuff. So we started creating distinct regional maps for those areas. And we said, we'll do it as long as you serve as administrator.
As an update. So you'd mentioned, this is like the tech portion, right? You'd mentioned that Pinball Map was on a different platform at one point, I'm guessing when these realms existed. And then when you integrated kind of the global map, it converted to a different platform.
Yeah, well, Scott's a professional programmer.
That helps.
I'm an urban planner.
That also helps.
Yeah. I do mapping for work. So I guess that kind of is related.
Sure.
But
can you give a crash course on some of the technical, like what the platform started on programming wise to what it is? I mean, we don't have to do lines of code here, but
yeah, it started as a Perl project, Perl Mason, and I can't remember all the details about Perl Mason, but it's some sort of PHP hybrid of Perl.
We got to wait for the dogs. The dogs are freaking out.
Bark, bark, bark.
They're so excited about pinball, they want to be involved in it.
They like Perl.
Yeah. If you have a dog, it probably likes programming in Perl.
Yeah.
What other animals would choose? So since they're barking, we might as well make this dumb bit. Okay. So I want you to pick an animal and what programming language they would probably use. And then I'll do one. We'll go back and forth.
All right. Well, Python would probably be a snake.
Okay, that's pretty literal, right? All right, I'll go with
the easiest.
Pandas, probably maybe Unity, because it's you don't have to know a whole lot, you know, right? You can be lazy about it,
yeah,
you know. And then
let's see, so I could even segue into what we changed into after Perl.
Okay.
And think about what animal that would be. So after Perl Mason, we switched to Ruby and Ruby on Rails for the web framework.
So I didn't really know about what Ruby was as a... So we were talking about what scripting language it's run on. And you had mentioned that it was run on Ruby, a platform that I've never really heard of before. Can you talk a little bit about what Ruby is and what its source is? Jackpot! Did you hear the Winchester tour guide?
Yeah, I thought I did. Huh. Someone got a jackpot.
That makes sense. Yeah. This is a pinball podcast after all. What is Ruby?
It's a very elegant language created by a guy in Japan. It's, for me, someone who's not a professional programmer, very easy to understand because it's written kind of in human readable language.
Is it still class object type format or?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
But so Scott, who programmed, was this is a great platform for this and this is what we should be using.
Yeah, I think they were using it at his work. So yeah, he thought it would be just a little faster, more modern.
Okay.
Yeah. Right.
As I'm assuming that obviously the platform's still on it after how many years? That this was clearly a good decision and a good backbone for what Pinball Map does.
Yeah. Yeah. Lots of huge sites use Ruby on Rails. Shopify, Twitter used it first.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah,
okay.
A ton. Yeah.
Cool.
GitHub is Ruby on Rails.
Get you hub. Mm-hmm. That's a dumb joke.
Yeah.
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 Yeah?
Yeah.
You've created this massive platform now. Tons of people use it. There has to be such a sense of gratification that you've created a way for more people to find pinball machines. Really, I guess I asked where it came from, but was it really just you wanted more places to be able to find games in your local area?
Yeah, we just wanted to help others find places and have it nice and easy to update. And bark, bark, bark.
And bark, bark, bark. We could just pretend to be dogs. We could just move our mouths
bark, bark. To your point, we feel obliged, I think, to keep it updated, keep working on new features, take into account people's feedback that they give us in order to give them things they want. Because we realized, it turned into a useful tool that a lot of people were using.
I mean, honestly, that's one of the biggest reasons that I really wanted you to be on the podcast is that there's something about pinball people and pinball creators that are just obsessed with doing something to help pinball, right? Mm-hmm. And I don't know if pinball would survive without all of the assistance if it was just companies making pinball machines. And I think to your credit, and thank you for doing this, Pinball Map is a resource that I have used a ton in my travels.
Cool. Right.
And I'm sure plenty of people on the internet feel the same way. But without people doing cool stuff for pinball and not trying to just exclusively monetarily benefit from it, which really, is there any money in pinball? Like,
I mean, we all have jobs, and
Sure.
so we don't need to make a couple $100 extra a month or something like that. And, you know, it kind of would change the dynamic if we added some sort of monetary aspect to it.
I would be happy to pay a 99 cent or like dollar fee or whatever, but I'm sure some people wouldn't. But
yeah, and we get donations, very, very nice donations from people that 100% cover our costs.
So
100%.
let's talk about costs real quick. Also, if you don't mind, I'd love to get that link in case somebody who's watching this may want to donate to support your platform.
Yeah.
But you've got server costs. I mean, like what are some of the kind of like financial hindrances to creating a product like this?
Well, right now there's not that many costs in general. I mean, for a while we kept it as cheap as possible, and so for most of its life was probably like $15 a month.
Oh, that's not too bad.
Yeah.
How much data bandwidth do you find that people are pulling from the site?
I don't know. We don't get charged
Oh, it's not how it's even handled. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, maybe if we exceeded something, and you know, we don't have time or interest in like looking at web analytics really. So I don't know. We don't know how many blah blah blah.
Sure.
All the time.
That makes sense.
We know how many edits are being made. That's the thing that interests us.
Gotcha.
That we can track. Once we started getting more donations, and it gave us a little bit more freedom to beef up our server, because for a while it was like, you know, you have 1 gigabyte of RAM, and we need to work super hard to make sure we're always under it, and that helped us for many years because we could really optimize the data, or optimize the code so that we weren't like wasting resources, which helped us in the long run. And now it costs more because we get more in donations, and we kind of just like have more server CPU and more database RAM, basically, to make it so there's never really any slowdowns.
Gotcha. And for people that are wondering, you gave me a number for how many edits there are roughly per week in terms of like additions and stuff that happen. Can you mention that?
Yeah, I looked it up yesterday because we get a little email at the end of the week that tells us how many machines were removed, how many were added, how many comments were made on machines, blah blah blah, and for the month, I'll just go to month. Month is a little easier. We get something like 8,500 average edits a month. That's
incredible. That's a lot.
It's a decent amount. It helps keep it up to date, I think.
Sure. And if that's really a neat thing about Pinball Map. It seems like almost always the machines are exactly as they are on the map. Like the time in between it being removed or changed. Ace Gogi is a good example. Ace cycles games constantly.
Yeah.
I mean, thankfully, since we're local, I imagine you get submissions for that pretty frequently.
And people can add and remove machines, you know, with no moderation or anything like that from a location. So that's just happening constantly. And we have on the website, we have a feed called pinballmap.com/activity. Okay. And you could just see globally all those edits being made.
You mentioned some of the features that people have added or that you've expanded in terms of like search filters. You mentioned that people can comment. Can you talk a little bit about like just some of the things that you can do with dogs barking? Thankfully, since we're just looking at each other, it's just a simple jump cut, push in.
Yeah.
But they do need to shut the up. If they didn't bark, I would almost be more concerned.
Right.
Damn dogs. Yeah. Okay, I think the dogs have finally shut up. Okay, so we were talking about some features and other things that have been like added to the platform as it has grown. You had mentioned comments, and I was like, if there's any unique search filters, because you had mentioned trying to add some new unique ones. Yeah,
we'd add filters for number of machines at a location. So if you want to see, you know, you don't want to see all the spots with one machine. You want to chop those out. Only shows places with 10 plus machines or something like that.
Sure, makes sense. If you want to go to a place with a bunch of friends, stacking up on one game is, I don't know.
Yeah. We create tools for operators so they can look at their own machines. We could, tag locations by operator basically, and they could say, show me only my locations. So they can more quickly update their own locations as they are swapping machines.
So the tools are helpful for people that are operators as well as pinball players in general.
Yeah. I mean, serving operators has been a big motivation for us. And I think we list like 500 of them or something like
Wow.
that on the, yeah.
How many, I mean, I guess, how many operators are there, let's say just in America, roughly based on that?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm sure we only get a subset of them tagged because we say, you know, contact us if you want to be listed as an operator.
Sure.
So it just, you know, every week we add a couple, basically.
Gotcha.
And then we let them, if they want to have their email added, we can send them notifications about comments made on their machines.
That's incredibly useful
Yeah.
if there's a game that has, say, repeat issues that have been present for multiple days or weeks.
Yeah, yeah. And so every day we send those out as like a once a day digest of here's all the comments made on your machines.
By far, one of the things that has frustrated me most about location games is if, like, especially when you're trying to introduce people to pinball and you show up and the games are just like in such a condition that they don't play right. Someone who doesn't know a lot about pinball may just assume that that's the way the game is supposed to be, and it's just not fun. So, you know, it really is nice when operators keep their games in top condition. And shout out to every operator who takes the time to make sure that their games run awesome at the arcades. Like, you are the absolute heroes of the pinball community for sure.
Yeah, and you know, it's understood by everybody that machines break.
Totally.
No one thinks machines will run flawlessly forever. So having a record in a way of comments saying left flipper's broken and then the operator comes in and says left flipper's fixed means that for me and you looking up locations, we could say, oh, this is a maintained location. There's somebody here that's working on this stuff. And I think that helps us make choices of where we want to play.
Absolutely. You don't want to drive a certain distance to just suddenly be not having as fun a time as you maybe could have, or to check out a very specific game.
Yeah.
If you are looking forward to playing a specific game and you show up there and it's not working, that can be frustrating. Even if the person that is running the place is being very diligent about repairing games, like sometimes timing is just what it is.
Yeah, yeah. And people do get upset about that.
Pinball people getting upset? Whoa, back that ass up. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
I've never seen a pinball person get mad about anything.
I know. You have.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
I haven't, not
sarcastic.
personally.
Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
it was a little bit of sarcasm.
Thank you.
Have you seen the channel?
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's pretty much all the major questions I have about the platform. I mean, this has been incredibly informative. I absolutely appreciate you taking the time to do this. Again, like I've been trying to get Ryan here for months, I would say almost at this point. I will say we always open it up to guests to plug anything in particular if they've got any updates, either personal or work related that they'd like to talk about, maybe with your podcast or maybe with Pinball Map updates.
Yeah. I don't know. Let's see. Like, I think next year or so in the app, we're trying to, this is a big update we'll do. So look forward to this. We're on the website, you could zoom out to the entire world and see every single location in the entire world. But on the app right now, there's kind of like zoom limits just because it's not set to efficiently pull in 12,000 locations worth of data all at once. But we've on the back end made it so we can do that. We just have to do an app update to actually make it support showing the entire world's 12,000 plus locations. So that'll come next year.
That's an amazing example of something that's like probably never going to be needed, but is just cool that you can do it.
Yeah. Yeah. And then we have a podcast we do once in a while called Mapping Around with Scott and Ryan. And we just talk about things that we've added to the website or app. We don't really need donations. We're fully covered. So I think the best way is to support the map by editing it, like updating locations. We do. I have a gift for you.
What?
Let me make sure it's right in there. It's a coin pouch.
Wow.
We have little coin pouches for sale.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
If you would like your own Pinball Map coin pouch, or you would like to give donations, I imagine there's a website to go to, and that would be
pinballmap.com. And
tough one to remember.
Yeah. You can find that /store and yeah.
Very cool. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Cool. So we usually praise the Great Pyramid. I'm trying to remember if there's anything else on the list. And yeah.
Okay.
So should we praise the pyramid?
We just praise it.
What do you mean? You know how to praise the pyramid.
Yeah.
You can make.
I want the best.
You're going big pyramid.
Yeah, big pyramid. Thick,
that's more of a
thick one.
That's more of an Aztec.
Yeah. Let's see. Okay.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah. I like what you got going on there. All right. Thank you very much, everybody, for watching. If you have seen this video, please be proactive on Pinball Map. If you have a location that's near you, the best way that you can help, like Ryan said, is to update locations and just, be proactive. Mm-hmm. Keeping an up-to-date map of games everywhere helps more people get exposed to pinball. And honestly, I think we all can agree that that's a good thing. So
I agree too. Yeah.
There you go. Mm-hmm. Thanks very much, everybody. Have a great one. And yeah. He's killing me in league right now. I'm not happy about it.
We'll see what happens in finals. I always tank in finals.
I'm top of B now. I got bumped. It's where I belong.
Oh.